Okay, hello everyone. So it's 7 o'clock and we are going to call this meeting into order. So thank you everyone for coming. So we'll start first with the first responder monthly report, starting with the Honolulu Fire Department. Is anyone here from the fire department?
Not seeing anyone online at this time.
Okay, so if they come on later, we'll let them speak, but we'll move to the Honolulu Police Department.
Hi, good evening. Aloha. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. I'm Sergeant Ransom Kano with District 7. I'll be reading you the stats for the month of July. Motor vehicle thefts were 3 compared to 2 the previous month. Burglaries were 11 as compared to 5 the previous month. Thefts were 14 as compared to 10 in June. And UAMV, which is unauthorized entry into a motor vehicle, was 5 as compared to 1 in June. Our safety tip of the month, although it's a little late, I know some schools already started, but it's going to be some back to school tips. Just keep in mind that on the road out there, there's going to be a lot more children, a lot more kids running around. So let's always be cognizant. And kids are smaller in stature. As we're driving or operating our vehicles, it's hard to see them. So let's make sure we keep our eyes peeled for these children. If they're riding bicycles, they're going to be moving a lot faster. And in case anybody has a child that actually uses a bicycle to go to school, the law is if you're under the age of 16, you're going to need a bicycle helmet, right? So let's always make sure we keep them in mind. And just a little personal story. When I was young, I used to go to the park and play basketball. My dad always used to tell me, don't dribble the ball on the way to the court because you might dribble the ball, it's going to bounce off and roll into the road. And children are impulsive. They're going to chase after the ball. They're going to end up getting struck by a vehicle or something like that. So yeah, that's our safety tip. I'm ready for some questions whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Sergeant Quano. Any members from the board? Any questions from the board?
Okano.
Okano, thank you.
I got it.
Earl,
got a question
right
for
on
you.
time, Earl, right on time.
Go ahead, Member Shiraki.
Okay, Sergeant Nakano. You know that motorcycle the guy he almost got killed on H1 right next to Kahala Mall.
Okay.
Well, I happened to see on the same motorcycle which I know I see my just turning off H1 into Owala Road, and this guy was in a
Okay.
motorcycle was going over 80 miles an hour on a
Jesus
street
Christ.
lane. You know, that was the 1 week before that. I don't know if that's the same
Yeah.
guy, but it sure must be. You officers gotta stop the guys because you
Yeah,
know what
that's
about
if
when
he's
you
going
see
that fast, that sounds like he's flying, Earl.
Yeah, you know,
Unbelievable.
hey, we're all going about 50, 60 miles there. You know, he's just bypassing. I can see the cars that he's going down there. So
Mm,
this stuff
okay.
happened right now where he must have hit one car and then, you know what I mean? People don't
Yeah.
hit the guys. So you guys
Yep.
gotta really stop the guys, man, on the stuff.
No, you're right. Huli muck a flip and then it's over, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And another thing about the, you know, you
Mhm.
gotta stop about
So oh, okay. Right. So in that area, the solo bicycle officers have been stopping people doing speed enforcement.
it's gotta be the same guy, you know. I just seen a week before that. I can't see the guy, but he was just speeding 80 miles
Right.
or so on a time. But anyway, now
You didn't get the plates or anything like that. That's kind of fast for you to get. I don't think you got the plates or anything like that. That's awfully fast flying by like that.
no, I just turned off when I seen him going with bypassing all the cars. I just turned
Okay,
off the over
okay.
that road. I cut off, yeah.
All
Anyway,
right. Hey, Red on Earl, good to see you. Thank you.
yeah, okay, I got another one.
Ooh,
You know the speed bumps, okay? You know the
okay.
speed bumps, okay? I just let me get they talk about speed bumps and stuff, you guys know it. I go in on Cully Street after meeting farm, you know, IBW, I'll go there. I slowing down,
Wait.
and this guy
Okay.
overtaking me, and the speed right over the speed bump. You know, and the speed
Mm.
bump on Cully Street is on the crosswalk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I don't know what.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
make a-
Just as you approach Farrington High School, right there.
Right, yeah, you know, going across. And the guys, they're just speeding across the stuff. You know,
Right, yeah.
so
Yeah. Speed is definitely a, I mean, it's common. I mean, you're bringing it up a lot. It's common, but it's definitely a dangerous thing.
And then other thing right now, in Diamond Hill Road, the guy that went the crash that all couple of-
Yeah, I saw that. The overnight one.
yeah. So now they're thinking about speed bump. You know, actually, a speed bump
Mhm.
is more hazard for the good drivers. You know, you drive
It's too much what? I'm sorry. Try say again, sir.
That's speed bump is a hazard for the good drivers. We all follow.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Right, right,
So you
right,
can
right.
imagine a speed guy hitting a bump, he's still going out. He's going out of control. You know,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
we,
Yeah,
we gotta get that. We gotta get that them guys. You know what? They're trying to just rush. You know,
yeah, yeah.
that's what.
Everybody slow down and relax.
Huh?
Relax. That's right.
Oh, this side? What?
I said relax, slow down, everybody.
Okay, thank you, Member Shiraki. Thank you, Sergeant O'Connell. I believe I see a representative from Honolulu Fire Department. Would you like to provide your monthly report?
Carlos, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here's that.
Captain Miller from Palolo Fire Station on Third Watch. Yeah, just go over the statistics for July. We had one nuisance fire and one activated alarm, no fire on that. And 40 medical calls, one motor vehicle crash, and one mountain rescue over that time period. Just go over the fire safety tips and announcements. It's for fire and fall protection. Help ensure the safety of our esteemed elders. Implementing prevention and preparedness practices will promote independence and reduce frequency of injury or death from home fire and falls. And then stay in the kitchen when frying and cooking. And just remind your elders if you have any relatives or whatever. We've gone to some calls where some of the older people, they'll walk away from the stove or forget. Just his memory as we get older starts to deteriorate a little bit. So sometimes you got to keep an eye on them. If a pan of food catches fire, slide a lid over it and turn off the burner. Remember, the stove top and oven are not to be used for storage. So that's a common thing we see. We go to places, a lot of people pack a lot of things around the stove. You want to keep that as clear as possible. It should only have combustible materials around it. So if there's paper towels or boxes of cereal or things like that, anywhere near the stove, that's a fire hazard, right? Okay, ensure working smoke alarms are installed properly. They also have, if people need, they can get bed shakers or strobe alarms for elderly that have impaired hearing or visual impairments. So that's a good option for them. Plan your escape from fire based on your abilities. So everybody's supposed to have an escape plan to get out of their house and a safe place to go. Basically, you want to leave everything and get out of the house. That's the number one thing, and call 911. Get out and stay out. Don't go back in there as well. Exercise regularly to build strength and improve coordination and balance. So that's important to stay healthy as we age, right? Be aware of your surroundings, including uneven surfaces. Another common thing we go to for falls with elderly is sometimes there's like a bulky rug in the hallway. If that's your family member, it's good to remove that, especially if they're using a cane or a walker. They're gonna eventually trip over that kind of stuff. And then be careful if some fluids get on there. We go to a lot that they slip and stuff too. But it's important to stay physically fit and then to get around a little better with that. Keep walking areas, pathways well lit also as well. I talked about the tripping hazards. And also review your medications with your doctor and keep an updated list. What helps for us if we respond to any type of call with the elderly or is to have the medical list on the fridge. Or in a place that somebody can get to it right away. That's a place where we'll look, if they're home by themselves, we'll go look at the fridge and see. And a lot of times what we're looking for is that pulsed form That's the physician's orders on, basically their orders based on if they want to be resuscitated or not. That's an important one for us. It gives us our guidance, and we're looking for that. That's a green form. So I'd encourage if any of you have elderly family members and stuff to have help them fill those out with their physicians. Yeah. Okay. And that's all I had for today.
Okay, thank you, Captain Miller. Do we have any questions from the board?
Nothing online.
Okay, seeing none, we do have quorum, so we're gonna move on to the next agenda
Thank you
item.
guys.
board
Have a good
business.
night.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Okay, so election of officers. Vice Chair and Treasurer, do we have a motion?
Here.
For the board members online, we do have board member Ige here in person with us as well. Okay, election of officers for Vice Chair and Treasurer. Any motions?
Oh, you're muted, Randy.
Didn't hear you, Randy.
Still can't hear you, Randy.
Randy, so you gotta unmute on WebEx, and then also you gotta make sure that you have a microphone plugged in, yeah?
Oh, we can't hear him.
Yeah, we can't hear him either.
Okay.
Randy, sorry, we still can't hear you. Right now, you're muted on WebEx.
I think he don't want anybody to hear him. Wow, Randy.
So, okay, he just left the meeting.
Okay, do any members want to make a motion?
We're looking for nominations right now.
We are looking for nominations to serve as Vice Chair and Treasurer.
Oh, we
I
did that already.
gladly nominate
Sorry.
Beverly Mao.
I thought we just did it before the meeting, kind already.
No,
No,
we
Member
didn't.
Shiraki, that was swearing in. Okay, thank you, Board Member Nakayama. So we have a motion.
Hear me now?
I second it.
Okay, the motion has been seconded to
We
nominate.
don't need a second for nominations.
Okay, we don't need a second, so thank you.
Yeah, Randy, we can hear you now, by the way.
Sorry, go ahead. Let's see. So did we nominate Bev for vice chair?
Yes, the motion has been made, so we can make a motion to close the nominations if there are none.
Are there any additional
Others.
nominations?
I make a nomination to close down. Okay.
Do we need a second on that?
If there's no other nominations, you guys don't even need a motion. Just continue on, honestly.
Okay, do we need to take any other action besides that nomination?
Yeah, you got, if, just for clarity, Colin's asking if there's any other, procedure after a nomination. And so if there's no other nominations, we don't need a motion to close. If there's no other nominations, we can just, go to a roll call vote.
Okay.
Okay, seeing no other nominations, I give the floor to Logan to take the roll call vote.
Okay, so the nomination for Beverly Mao as vice chair was made by member Nakayama. You can just say the last name, even though there's only one person, the last name of the member that you would like to elect. Hack,
Mao,
Ige, Kawamoto,
Aye. Oh, she kept times up.
Mao, or I'm sorry, McColgan,
Yes, Mao.
Nakayama,
Mao.
Onishi,
Oh.
Orleans, Shiraki,
Oh,
Turbin,
Mao.
Peros,
Mal.
Mao. Be- Beverly, would you like to vote or abstain?
Wow. Make it unanimous, huh?
All right, great. The motion passes.
Okay, congratulations, Vice Chair Mao.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your vote of confidence, and I'm happy to continue to serve our community. So thank you. Thanks, Star, for the nomination.
We appreciate your public service. We are now looking for a nomination for treasurer.
I have a clarification.
I nominate Rusty Onishi.
Good.
Okay, do we have any other nominations?
I'll second that nomination.
Okay, thank you. Seeing none, I will turn it over to Logan to take the roll call vote.
All right, so the nomination was made by Member Shiraki to make Member Onishi the treasurer. Hack,
Onishi,
Ige,
Onishi.
Kawamoto,
Onishi.
Mao,
Onishi.
McColgan,
Nishi.
Nakayama,
Onishi.
Orleans, Shiraki,
Onishi.
Turbin,
She?
Peros,
Onishi.
Onishi. You're muted.
Hey,
Russ.
show me the money. Where's the money?
Motion is adopted.
Okay, thank you. Congratulations, Member Onishi.
Yay, thank you.
Onishi. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to the next agenda item, approval of initial convening meeting written summary for the video recording. This is from our July board meeting. Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the video minutes rendition, whatever you call it nowadays. What do you call it?
Yeah, approval of initial convening
convening
meeting
meeting.
written summary for video recording.
second the motion.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead. Yes. So Senator Ihara has a question.
Since you passed the bill this year, 5 full minutes.
Louder,
Can't hear.
hear you.
This legislative session, the legislature passed a bill and the governor signed it that required full minutes, written minutes, in addition to the timestamps. So I would like to request that the law be followed, and maybe next time the full minutes are, and maybe let your bosses know.
No, sure. What exactly did you mean by full minute?
Minutes require substantive, the sunshine law. We're just following the sunshine law.
Yeah, so our written summary for video record, it follows all the guidelines.
No, but you're required to have minutes now. Maybe check with their boss and.
Okay, I will, but I mean, we just adopted these because they're all in compliance with the.
No, they're not. Not as of July 1. So what minutes are these? These are from.
These are from our July meeting.
Okay, yeah, so July 1, I think it took effect July 1. And so this might be there might be the in-between, getting used to it. You may not, I wonder if you folks even know about it. I'm not sure if you know what the act number, I'm not sure, I don't have it offhand.
Yeah, sure, I can pass that along.
Yeah. But Colin, you probably have it, right?
Not in my head, but
Oh,
we'll find it.
yeah, if you can find out, it's, yeah. And then maybe because it affects all the boards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so I'm not sure if the members online heard that, but there was legislation passed this past session requiring actual minutes, but our approval the motion to approve has been moved and seconded, so we'll have Dean have to say. Oh, go ahead, Member McColgan.
Just a question on board business. We talked about having the meeting at Palolo Elementary, but we didn't give it a date of when that's going to start.
Let's talk louder, can't hear.
Yeah. So the
Yeah.
question was, when the board meetings at Palolo would start, and while we did make the motion, it, was assumed to take effect immediately, but the process to secure the space has not been finalized, so we're hoping to have the space available for our October meeting.
Thank you.
Colin,
Yes, Member Shiraki.
yeah, what are you talking about? Our scheduled meeting is already, is Palolo Elementary School, October.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
plan.
Yeah, it is already, so make it there already, so don't say we keep on talking, we're going, whatever. Everything is approved already.
Okay, I just want to finish the agenda item that we started. So we had a motion to approve, and it was seconded. So are there any reservations or no's? Okay, seeing none, the motion is passed. Okay, next, agenda item, filling of vacancies. So we have one vacancy in sub-district 2, one in sub-district 3. Are there any community members interested in filling either of these vacancies? Okay, if you are interested, or if you know anyone who might be interested, have them contact Logan. If not, we will move on to the next agenda item, residents and community concerns. Are there any residents who would like to bring up any concerns?
Not saying anything.
Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. So,
Colin, real quick.
yes, Member Turbin.
So I just have a community question. Maybe some of the legislators can step in. So obviously we have the tragedy that happened in Maui this past weekend, and I'm just noticing that there's a large inundation of, sites, fundraising pages to donate to. Is there a recommended, local community organization that someone is aware of, here, who's obviously kind of connected and understands the community, that one would kind of recommend donating to, knowing that it'll go to the right place in the right community, people out in Maui?
Derek,
Yeah.
I did note that there are a couple of ways to go. The Hawaii Community Foundation has a Maui Strong Fund.
Okay, thanks.
And there's also the two other organizations, American Red Cross Hawaii Chapter
Mhm.
and the Salvation Army, both for disaster relief.
Okay, so thank you, Randy. No, that definitely helps. That's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Member Turbin. Any other concerns from residents or community members? Okay,
Yeah, if I could just hop in real quick, just to address your guys' meeting location right now. So the NCO is in talks. I just want to clarify where the NCO is at. So you guys can't schedule a meeting until the contract is finalized, and the NCO is in contact with Palolo Elementary, and so we're optimistic that we can get you guys there for your October meeting. But until that contract is finalized, there's nothing set in stone. So I just want to be clear with that.
I got a
Thanks.
question now. What we getting problem now? Colin, I thought we got a Saturday already. It's gonna be October, the second Wednesday of the month. What do you mean by not getting consent? I talked to them, everything is open already. It's supposed to be tonight, actually. So what's
yeah,
the
so as a board, we took the most action we could to, pass that motion. And as Logan said, the Neighborhood Commission office is just taking the steps to finalize that contract and secure the space. So there's no problem. The plan is to have it there in October, barring anything else that would prevent us from having it there. But yeah, no problem, Earl.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next agenda item. This is the monthly report from the Board of Water Supply. Do we have a representative from the board?
Yes, can you hear me, Chair?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Everybody's nodding their head. I'm Kathleen Pahinui. I am the Public Information Officer for the Board of Water Supply. Nice to see some familiar faces, and congratulations on being reelected to your positions. We are going out and we are working on our 5-year rate schedule. Fiscal year 2024 to fiscal year 2029. We will be holding 3 community meetings. Monday, August 14th at Benjamin Parker Elementary in Kaneohe. Tuesday, August 15th at the Japanese Cultural Center over on Baratania. And Wednesday, August 16th at Kapolei Hale. Your chair has also requested a presentation, I believe, at your October meeting. I think we're looking at Chair Peros. That is all I have to report. We had no main breaks this past month. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen. Do we have any questions from board members?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Juanita, yes.
Aloha, Kathleen. Nice
Hi,
to see
Juanita.
you. I just wanted to see if there was any more updates or especially with the defueling of Red Hill.
Member Kawamoto, we do have that scheduled agendized next. So Kathleen will address that directly in the next agenda item.
Mahalo.
Thank you. Any other questions from board members?
None.
None.
Great, seeing none. Any questions from community members or residents? Okay, thank you, Kathleen,
Thank you,
for
sir.
your Board of Water Supply monthly report. So I'll turn it back to you for the Red Hill bulk fuel storage facility update.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I appreciate that.
Thanks.
Board member Kawamoto had sent a letter with a number of questions regarding Red Hill. And I don't know, Chair, was that shared with the board?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
great. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, this is the statement that we have regarding that was provided to me by our Deputy Manager, Erwin Kawada. As many of you know, Erwin has been on the front lines of this issue since 2014, along with Manager Lau. The Board of Water Supply has been testing its water sources near the Red Hill fuel facility since the 2014 fuel release and continued to do so during the November 2021 release that affected Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam and continues on through today. The test results show no detections of petroleum contamination. Petroleum chemicals can be soluble in water at low concentrations up to its maximum solubility limits. Levels above this amount then become non-soluble and can produce free product layers. And anyone that's put a lot of oil in water, you'll see that the oil's floating on because it doesn't dissolve completely in the water. Based on the Board of Water Supply and United States Geological Survey knowledge of groundwater flow directions on Oahu, BWS wells in metropolitan Honolulu, including Palolo, are not affected by the Red Hill fuel releases. Questions about the health effects of petroleum contamination in water should be directed to the health agencies such as the Hawaii Department of Health or the EPA. Any questions?
Thank you, Kathleen. Any questions from board members?
Just one quick question. Are you folks, this is a little off topic. Are you, because the release of PFAS or the aqueous firefighting foam has to do with this facility, are you folks testing for that in the water?
Yes, we are, Board Member Hack. We have had 8 detections in wells, primarily in the Pearl City, Waipio, Waipahu area. it comes and goes. And once we detect it, we keep testing regularly for it. But PFAS is highly soluble in water and it moves quickly. And so while we may have a detection 1 month, when we go back and test again, we don't find it again. But we will continue testing. All of that data and information is on our, you can find it at protectoahuwater.org. We put all of the test results up there. Thank you, sir. Good question.
Thank you, Member Hack. Member Kawamoto.
Aloha, Kathleen. So my question is where they had all, I hear you talking about where the aquifer is running and how you test the water. And I guess what I'm concerned about is how they had all of this, the fuel traveling from the tanks out to Pearl Harbor, and the pipeline that they utilized to do all of that had issues, I understand, from those who are responsible for taking care of the pipeline, and that there was leakage coming from those things over many years. So how do you test in areas like that? What might show up in those specific places where the pipeline goes from the tank to Pearl Harbor?
Well, that it falls under the purview of the Navy, and we have no access. Now, we are working with the Navy to do some testing at the Red Hill facility directly in the shaft, because we want to see what they're still finding down there. But anything along the pipeline itself that's under the purview of the Navy, they are testing regularly, and I do believe that there is they're putting information. Now, they have a little dashboard that they have put together that you can download on your cell phone, both Android and Apple. And it's called JTF, Joint Task Force Red Hill. So if you go onto the Apple Store, the Android Store, and find it, you can download it. And it talks about all the organizational structure, the repairs, what they're doing, how they're doing it, etc. So I would highly recommend anyone who's concerned about Red Hill download this dashboard. Otherwise, I do believe they may have some information up on their website on testing. And I know that they have to send the tests into the Department of Health, and the Department of Health may also have some information up on their website. What we're doing is we're testing outside of Navy property. We do know the Navy is putting in additional monitoring wells, as we are. We're putting in, I believe, another 5 to 6 new monitoring wells. Our monitoring wells, of course, are going to be off Navy property, because we feel very strongly that you're going to probably find things on Navy property, because as you pointed out, Board Member Kawamoto, that there have been many leaks over the years. Since the tanks were built, there have been leaks, and we have that documented. But we don't know what's happening outside of Navy property. So we have been testing from our own wells, and we're going to be putting in some additional monitoring wells, so we have a better idea of where it's going. As we said, it's generally flowing towards the ocean, but more towards like down Moanalua Way, more out towards Pearl City Way. That's where we're concerned about in the flow of water. So the flow of water isn't heading towards Palolo. But I agree with you. We need to have as much data as possible. So we are putting in more wells. And we believe those wells really need to be further out in the community, because that's how we'll really know if the flow is moving or not.
Question?
Nachman.
Okay, thank you, Member Kawamoto. Member Hack.
Do you test at the Keanu shaft, which is right in our district?
I believe that a tunnel is closed right now, if I remember correctly. We are going to be doing some work on it, but we tested all water sources. That's not, I believe, not a working water source right now.
I have heard the pumps going, but not recently. But it must be pretty recent.
Yeah, we may run it periodically to ensure the pumps don't freeze up, and to keep it working. I do believe we were going to be doing some work, but what I can do is I can ask our water systems team and send a response back to Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hack. Any other questions from board members? Any questions from community members online?
No.
Okay, thank you, Kathleen, for being with us tonight. Thank you for that update.
Palolo, have a great
Thank
evening.
you.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Okay, thank you. So our next agenda item is a Kuahea Street project update. So in our last board meeting, there was some community concern that was raised. So in response, we had asked for an update on the Kuahea Street project. Is there a representative from the Department of Design and Construction to provide that update?
Haku.
Director Haku Melissa's here, as well as Robin Lim. I'm going to just lead it off, the presentation, and then I'm going to hand it off to them. So anyway, thank you, Mr. Board Chair. Evening, everybody. My name is Scott Ishikawa from Becker Communications. We're handling the communications during much of this project run. Basically, we are getting close to the end of this Kuahea Street stabilization project at the end of this year. You may have seen the Hawaiian Electric crews recently installing the utility poles on Kuahea Street, and the grass and fencing is being put in. First of all, we want to thank the neighborhood. We want to thank Palolo community, and we want to thank the board for their patience during this work. You know, this project was held up a couple times, one of which we had to acquire the Fong property along Waiamau Road. That took about a year to accomplish. We also want to thank Councilmember Say. I know he's online in this meeting, and we want to thank him for his support in providing construction updates to the board each month. So with me tonight, like I mentioned, Director of City Department of Design and Construction, Haku Millis, and Robin Lim from the GeoLabs engineering firm working on the project. So Robin's going to talk about the construction aspect of the project, and then the city director will talk more about future planned city work. So I'm going to hand it over to Robin.
All right. Well, thank you, Scott. I think you can see my screen, and that's the presentation for this evening. I'm going to talk a little bit about what has been done to kind of protect city infrastructure. That's the various area repairs that's gonna start off with, and then I'm going to get into the Kuahea Street area stabilization project that's ongoing, and then I'm going to turn it over to the director Haku Millis to talk a little bit about some of the future projects, which include the reconstruction of Kuahea Street between Hello Place and Waiamau Road, and then the realignment of Waiamau Road, and a little bit about the Kuahea Place improvements. One of the things that's been ongoing behind the scenes that the city folks have been doing is really to protect city infrastructure, has been just various small repairs. One of those projects happens to be like the drain line repair. It was a broken drain line in the 2314 Waiamau Road address down here. That's just was recently completed. Then some of the other little things that have been done are like the retaining wall repairs, some cracked retaining walls at the 2318 Waiamau Road project area, as well as some of the pavement repairs that has been occurred on the upper Kuahea Street area, right out here, as you can see. And then some under drain installation on Waiamau Road to take care of some seepage issues that were identified in one of the progress reports. And then some of the work that was done also on Lamaku Place, filling in some cracks and replacing some of the pavements, along with one of the flume repairs that was done in the park area where the Waiamau landslide is. So that work has been ongoing and was just recently completed in June. It started back in that October of 2022. And at this point, it is complete. And there's really just various small items that need maintenance and repairs to protect the city infrastructure in an active landslide area. Then I'm going to talk a little bit about the Kuahea Street Area Stabilization Project that is led by the city's Department of Design and Construction Civil Division. It is a design build contract and led by Schnabel Foundation Company. And then we're the geotechnical consultant and the construction manager, Geolabs. And then a civil consultant is the AECOM, and a community relations is Becker Communications. And that's the firm that Scott is working for. And under community relations, we always have this, you can always look it up at the website. There's a DDC website at www.honolulu.gov/DDC. And in that website, there's a link that specifically takes you to the more details on the Cohier Street area stabilization. It gets updated with ongoing work, probably twice a month, and it keeps updated quite consistently. And we are directing your attention to that. And of course, there's always the project hotline at 397-5396 that you can call and leave a message, and Scott usually will get back to you with to address your concerns. And the Cohier Street project is expands from the Cohier Place at the top, and then it goes down the Cohier Street and all the way down to Waimau Road. And that's the area that's highlighted here, and that's really the Cohier Street area stabilization project limits. And here's an aerial shot of the project. That was before all this work was completed. And as you can see, there's an outline in cyan color, and that is pretty much the outline of the landslide boundaries. And in there, you can see in red out here, galleries labeled as galleries 1, 2, and 3. And within that is a bunch of tiebacks that's been installed into the ground. And to restrain the earth from additional movement. And really, all this work is done to protect city infrastructure that's on Cohier Street and, of course, on Waimau Road. Subsequently, we also went down to the lower portion where you see Gallery 4 and the soldier pile and tieback wall system. We started work down at the bottom at the tieback wall system, the soldier pile and tieback wall system, with the intent to provide some additional resistance to the toe of the landslide before we started work on Gallery 4, which had involve some excavation to create a bench to install the tiebacks. And here's a cross section running through the site from the top to the bottom. At the top, Cohier Place. At the bottom, Waimau Road. And then it crosses Cohier Street. Here, the galleries 1, 2, and 3 tiebacks at the upper portion of the site. And then the soldier pile wall and tieback. And then the gallery 4 tiebacks. And again, all these are structural elements that extend into the ground and basically anchored in this orange colored zone, the most stable zone of the site. All right. All right. Here's an aerial shot of the site, which was just taken, looks like last week in August. And you can see that the Cohier Street has been repaved. The upper portion, upper site is now vegetated with erosion control measures. And then you can see that the vegetation or ground cover is starting with erosion control measures and irrigation, temporary irrigation. The establishment period is about 90 days that just started in August. So it'll probably extend through about November. Here are some of the major elements of work, for this particular project. It started off with the utilities, both temporary and permanent relocations were done to enable construction of the project, specifically the tiebacks. The main element of the project are the tieback anchors, and that was installed and completed. And of course, the soldier pile and tieback wall system at the bottom to anchor the mitigation measures. And of course, various roadway improvements have been completed as well. Right now, we're working on getting the monitoring equipment installation going so that we can continue monitoring the structural health of the system that's been installed, and the fencing and erosion control measures and vegetation that's ongoing from the photographs that you've seen. Just a quick recap. This is the phase 1 work. Here's the drill rig installing the tiebacks. The galleries 1, 2, and 3 comprised had 136 tieback anchors installed, and the work was started back in March of 2020 and extended through September 2020, and that had been installed and completed. And then we proceeded after a break in the action. This work was started in June of 2021 with the soldier pile and tieback wall system. That particular anchor at the bottom consisted of 29 soldier piles with 28 tieback anchors. That works, like I mentioned, started in June of 2021 and it was completed in January of 2022. Here's a shot of the gallery 4, which consisted of 49 tieback anchors. And you can see that the gallery with the whalers, and they had some drains also installed, horizontal drains installed in there as well. Here's a look photo back in May of 2023, just about 3 months ago. As you can see that the majority of the work has been completed, regraded. The upper site, the lower site, the concrete pavement has been installed, and before the erosion control measures and the fencing and so on. The director will talk a little bit about what goes on down here, the continuation of Coher Street from Hello Place down the Waimea Road a little bit later. I'll leave that for him. Here's a photograph showing the upper site, showing the erosion control measures along with the erosion control matting and the measures vegetation, which is really just slow growing grass, along with temporary irrigation that you can see out here. And like I mentioned, it's going to at least have a 90-day establishment period. The fencing around the site, we needed to include some fencing around the site to really to protect the site. The site is quite steep, and at the same time, we have a lot of instrumentation to monitor the structural health of the tieback system. So to prevent vandalism or at least reduce that concerns about that, fencing has been installed, and to keep that out. And also the site is quite steep, and also to keep people from accidentally going into those areas that may be not appropriate. Is not a park. That's bottom line. This is the reconstruction of the pavement itself, Coher Street. As you can see, the concrete pavement, fairly brand new. This photograph was taken in July last month. And here's a good shot. So two particular photographs. The one on the left is taken in July of 2020, and the one on the right is taken in September of 2020. The first one is the one on the left. Basically, you can see that there's a hump, the little bump there, in front of one of the houses. And as you can see, that the delineators here, which suggests that the incoming traffic was higher than the outgoing from the valley. So, and then this was the bump was removed and flattened out, and you can see the work here being done. It looks like there's a dip in the road from this curvature in the center line of the roadway, but it's really not. It's flat, and that's just an optical illusion from the photographs. And here's another shot of the roadway improvements for photographs taken back in March of 2023 this year. And as you can see, this area was repaved and the road was pretty much realigned to straighten it out so that the people can drive a little bit more straightforwardly. And then this, like everyone was talking about, was just concerns about safety. So please respect the speed limit and slow down. And again, back to this photograph of the erosion control measures and vegetation and fencing. This is a second photograph of the same area showing the lower portion of the site. And some people may notice that these bollards have been installed. And because of the steepness of the site, these bollards may be used to serve as a tie-off points for maintenance workers who need to traverse the site to maintain it, cutting grass or anything that needs to go. At least they'll have some safety features that they could make use of when working on the site. And with that, there's the most recent picture taken just last week that shows that just about the erosion control matting has been in place. All the vegetation, which is really just slow growing grass, is on and starting the establishment period. And at this time, we're looking to finish off all these works, and with the possibly opening of Kuhia Street sometime in October. With that, I'm going to turn it over to the director, Haku, to talk a little bit about the future projects.
Thank you, Robin. Good evening, Chair, Neighborhood Board, and community members. I'm Haku Millis. I'm the Director for the Department of Design and Construction. I'll just briefly talk through remaining projects that we have. As you know, this continued work going on up in this valley area is continuous, right? This is just one piece in our overall work. So along with the regular monitoring we have going on, we do plan to complete the Kuahea Street from Hello Place to Waimau Road. This will consist of waterline improvements and concrete pavement up to connect where the new pavement begins. The plan is to have this completed before we initiate the work on Waimau, right? Robin just talked about the realignment work that has to happen near the soldier pile wall. And so the goal, as I mentioned, we want to have this completed so that we can use this as a detour as necessary. This is projected to tentatively utilize the fiscal 24 funds for construction, which just became available. The next project, upcoming project, as I just mentioned, the Waimau Road realignment. This is a pretty significant amount of work: utility relocations, retaining wall reconstruction, sidewalk, curb and gutter reconstruction, and then repaving. So this involves PUC due to the type of facilities that are being relocated. That process could take anywhere from 18 to 24 months and has not yet started. This is pending execution of a unilateral agreement between the city and HECO. We are in the middle of design, and that's ongoing. This project will likely utilize fiscal year 25 funds for construction. Lastly is the Kuahea Place improvements. So the scope listed here for sewer line improvements and roadway improvements, a lot of this needs to be discussed and negotiated with the current owners. As many of you know, the city has a 1/6 interest in Kuahea Place. There are 4 total owners with a 1/6 interest and 4 that have a 1/12 interest. Where the roadway is privately owned by multiple parties, consensus from co-owners must be obtained before repairs can proceed. So we're working with the administration on the best path forward. And we do plan to sit down with all owners in the very near future to talk through how best to complete this work. It is in our best interest to get this completed quickly. And we do appreciate everyone's patience and cooperation as we work towards resolving this last issue. Are there any questions? This concludes our presentation. We do have some time for questions.
Okay, thank you, Director.
Ryan, I got a question.
Go ahead, Member Shiraki.
Okay. You know, you got the concrete barriers, the one that's in the ground, right? You know, you get so much. The stuff is holding back the soil from coming out and the water, right? Is that what the stuff was for, right? The big concrete barrier you got on the side of the mountain coming down.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear the question. Can you please repeat that?
You know the concrete barriers you guys put up against on the slope, concrete barriers. What is the purpose actually of that? Holding back the soil and the water.
Maybe I can address this. I think
Yeah, Robin,
do you mean the shotcrete that has been placed on Kohia Place and right below it? I think that if that is what you mean, it's really not a barrier, but it's really shotcrete lining to prevent erosion. So you know, that's what it's for. Is really that area has a lot of surface water running down Kohia Place. And really to mitigate that, we are basically lining it with shotcrete. And if you're talking about the other barrier, which is the whaler for the tiebacks, those are in the ground and buried at this point. And that's what the monitoring is for, is to monitor the structural health of those items. Does that answer your question?
So no. So in other words, you know what I'm talking about, the concrete barrier that they made and put in is underground and you cover it up after that.
Right.
I'm asking you, what was the main purpose of that? I think it's to hold back the soil and the water coming down into the land onto 1 Mile Road. Right?
I believe you mean the what I just mentioned was the whaler. Whaler basically is to tie all the tiebacks together. And yes, it is meant to retain the soil behind it, and basically restrain the mountain or the road from moving down the slope.
So where does the water go?
We have drainage.
I'm talking about the rainwater that comes up on the mountain, underground.
The water that comes onto the surface is directed down on the roads and is picked up by drain inlets. Those that go underground, there are some subsurface drains that have been installed, and then of course it also goes to inlets.
Oh, so it's going to the storm drain.
Yes, that is correct.
Because I'm thinking about if all the water from the mountain going to the storm drain only, that you're gonna plug up the storm drain. You gotta get an overload so the stuff can go into the river.
We've been monitoring it. It's not a lot of water that comes through the subdrains.
But that's the reason why the earth is moving, right? Because of that much water underground.
Yes, I mean there's water that's going everywhere, but through that area, it's where the subdrains and horizontal drains are installed. It's not a lot is going through that area, but it has provides relief for that.
And, you know, if I just chime in, Earl, as someone who's kind of worked on this issue a little bit, the real concern has been the shifting roads, which they addressed and stabilized, it hasn't necessarily been the flooding in that area. So I think this is a very necessary remedial action that was taken to kind of prevent those roads from shifting, and not as, they're on it with the flooding. So I think we're good on this issue, and let's see if anyone else has any questions on this.
Thank you, Member Turbin, for your insights. Any other questions from board members?
I'm gonna ask you a
I
question.
have a question.
Yes, Vice Chair Mel.
I'm wondering how often the city will be monitoring, or what kind of maintenance plan is in place to make sure the concerns don't resurface. Do you have a long-term plan?
The
Yeah, so we have a regular annual contract for monitoring the area and slides. That we, yeah, I mean, it's an annual contract, right? And we put out the reports. And so, as you guys know, a lot of you know, this project happened because of the data that supported something needed to be done, right? And so if we find that the data shows that we need to initiate another type of project, then we would follow a similar course.
Okay, we just want to make sure it's maintained.
right.
It's a
Just to
huge
add to-
concern. Yeah.
Yeah, just to add to the director's sentiments, comments, is that the instruments that are in the ground, they are monitoring on a continuous basis. So it's pretty continuous. Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Any other questions from board members?
No question.
Great. Okay, any questions from community members? Okay, seeing none, thank you again, Director Millis, Scott, and Robin, for the presentation. Thanks for taking time tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so moving on to the next agenda item, elected officials, reports from elected officials. Is there a representative from Congressman Case's office? Okay, seeing none, moving on to Councilmember Say.
I'm here.
Where you in home?
There you are.
Huh?
Hi,
I'm here.
Councilmember.
I just
Hi.
wanted to report that my report is in the chat. And I want to thank Haku and Mr. Lim for a job well done in making their presentation. The total cost of this particular project for all of you is about 24 million that the city and county of Honolulu has spent. And there will be an additional resource of funds for the Waimau Road. So in essence, what has happened this past month, there was a couple of issues in regards to the homeless. We've got the community policing team addressing it on the Ka'alani place where we have our homeless encampment on the side of the stream. Other than that, just be prepared that for Palolo Avenue, you'll see some of the eruptions, meaning projects going on that will be systematically replacing our what's that on our road we have those sewer caps or those steel caps. That's what they will be replacing, and that's why we couldn't move ahead as far as getting the funding for the resurfacing of Palolo Avenue from Wailai all the way up to Carlos Long. At this point, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Your parks are doing fine. Other city, I think, services we're doing okay, but the bigger issue now will be how to address next year's budget.
Thank you, Councilmember Say. Any questions from
You're
board
welcome.
members?
Right.
Any questions from community members?
Rusty, get ready.
I just wanted to tell Calvin, thank you for all the good work you've been doing over the past years and currently.
I'm trying my best.
You're the best. You're the
I know.
best.
I'm feeling it now at my stage in my life. Before I sign off, I would just like to give you guys a heads up that I tell a lot of the young kids today at the elementary, middle school, and high school, you don't have to call me Speaker Emeritus say, or Council Member say. Just call me Uncle. And I think, and Rusty and I are the same age, Dean. And what's funny about it is that this is what I always share with the young kids. You know, Uncle Calvin was born at 6 a.m. in the morning, and Uncle Calvin is going to die at 6 p.m. in the evening. And right now, for all of you, I'm 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon. So I'll give you half an hour more, and that's it. Terrible, huh? But thank you very much.
Continue on. Continue on. Great job. You're the best.
No. Everyone that participates, you guys are the best because you are providing the public service also on behalf of all the residents and also our city and county employees and state employees. They're the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Onishi. We echo the sentiment.
Nope.
Any questions? Any
Plenty of
questions
more.
from?
One more. We should also thank Dean. You know, Dean now is the president of, you know what, association?
Pickleball.
Anyone knows? Come on, Earl.
Oahu Pickleball
Hogan.
Association.
Pickleball, right.
Oh, pickleball. I play pickleball.
So Dean,
Yeah.
maybe you can look into the Palolo Park where we have the tennis courts that are not being utilized that much, yeah?
Well, it's the more I walk up there, thanks Calvin, by the way, but the more I walk up there are more and more people using those brand new courts up in Palolo. So
Great.
It's very promising.
Thank you.
We just need lights, but we'll save that for another discussion. Thank you, Member Say. We appreciate you being here. Okay, so we'll move on. Mayor Rick Blangiardi's representative.
Hi,
Deputy Director's here.
Chair Carroll and neighborhood board members. Thank you for having me. My name is Warren Mamizuka. I am the Deputy Director for the Department of Facility Maintenance. There's actually no reports from last month's meeting, no concerns, no issues. So I just want to share the mayor's newsletter, the August newsletter. There's a few stories in there, protecting our paradise. Mayor announces key hires for his cabinet. This morning, Gene Albano was just confirmed by City Council as the new Director and Chief Engineer for the Department of Facility Maintenance. Catherine Kashner was confirmed as the Director for the Department of Land Management. Also in this month's edition is Skyline's first month ridership, affordable housing in Honolulu, and keeping our neighbors safely housed. I'm going to ask Logan, if he can post a link in the chat, and you can read the full story at www.oneoahu.org/newsletter. Also, every Thursday, there's a new episode for the One Oahu with Mayor Rick Blangiardi podcast. If you register online, you can submit your questions and learn more. The website, once again, if Logan, you can post that in the chat. The link is www.oneoahu.org/podcast. And that's all for the mayor's report. Thank you.
Okay, thank
Any
you, Deputy
questions?
Mamizuka. Any questions from board members?
No question.
Okay, any questions from community members online? Awesome, thank you, Deputy Mamizuka. Moving on to Governor Green's representative. Is Ryan online? Okay, we'll move on to Representative Sayama. Representative, I don't think we can hear you.
Jackson, you're on.
It says that you're not
Get
muted
off.
on WebEx,
You're not
Jackson,
speaking,
but
Jackson. You mute.
How's this?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, perfect.
Thank
Sorry
you.
about the technical issues. But yes, speaking of the Maui fires, there is going to be a donation drop-off that is hosted by the Maui delegation from the Senate. That will be tomorrow in front of the Capitol at the Father Damien statue. That would be between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is happening tomorrow and on Friday. Things to donate would be toiletries, food, clothing, bedding, household goods, and non-perishable food. Right now, they're discouraging bottled water due to the weight constraints, so maybe that could be donated elsewhere. But for this one, we're just accepting the listed items. I'll be posting it on social media. Unfortunately, I can't include the graphic in the chat, but we'll be sure to try to get the word out as any way I can. Coming back into our district, my office is coordinating with the Honolulu Chinese JCs and the city's Department of Facilities Maintenance to do a community cleanup at Azaman Park in Waimau. So that's happening this Saturday from 9 to 12. If you can make it, come join with some gloves, and if you have like a rake or clippers, that'd be great to bring. You can find street parking on Waimau Road, or if you live nearby, you could just walk by. So we did this, I believe, in July, and it went pretty well. We were able to pick up 27 garbage bags full of green waste, and so council member Say was there last time as well and helped out a lot. So if you could come, please do, and please let me know if you have any questions regarding that. That would be all the updates I have from my side. I'm now open to questions.
Thank you, Representative Sayama. Any questions from board members? Any questions from community members online? Okay, thank you, Representative. Appreciate it.
Jackson, doing a good job, Jackson.
Thank you, Earl.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move on to Senator Ihara. You may have seen he was present earlier, but he had to leave. He did leave me with a note and wanted to share that the Senate is going into a special session on August 21st and 22nd to take up some judicial nominations. With that being said, with the kind of the natural disasters happening on Maui and Hawaii Island, I just want to point out one of the announcements, agenda item 8D. This is a long-term disaster recovery plan survey. So kind of timely if we can all provide our input and help the city plan for other natural disasters. But with that, I will adjourn our meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Colin, for a good job.
Yeah, good job, Colin. Thank you.
Good.
Can I ask why we didn't approve minutes? I don't see the minutes on the agenda.
We did.
Oh, yeah, I think
Announcement, and stop here. Our next meeting, October